Are you having chronic neck pain? Still, you can't seem to stretch it out. It's still not really going away. Your solution actually may be strengthening. My name is Tom Willman, physical therapist from Apex Orthopedic Rehab in White Cove, New Jersey. We're going to talk about a few options you can do besides stretching your neck to improve your pain and overall function. In the cervical spine, there's several structures are believed to be the pain generators for people that are suffering from acute, like I just had an episode of neck pain, or chronic neck pain. One of them can be disc herniation, bulges, changes like that, arthritis in the neck, whether it be the facet joints or some of the larger joints. Those are some of them, and just general inflammation can be an origin of some of the pain that's going on. And even in some of the chronic neck issues, you can have inflammation that just can't quite get resolved and really improve with time. Now, with any condition, obviously, if we have, we just started to have neck pain, it just occurred, it's been a day or two, there's in the acute phase. The first 2-3 days, upwards of 5 days, could be a lot of inflammation, and sometimes active exercise is a little hard. After that point, we want to try and incorporate some movement. We learned a lot of this from the lumbar spine too, that complete bed rest and shutting down isn't the best option, but we want modified rest. We want to be doing something after that first 3 to 5 days to kind of start a little bit of gentle motion and not shut down completely, because we can get atrophy, disuse, and also get more sensitive to this condition if we just totally avoid all things that are painful. So what is good pain and bad pain? When we're doing exercises, always, that's always a concern when you're starting any kind of rehab program. If you're starting to do these exercises, I always start out very conservative. I'd rather have you start with like light resistance, low repetitions. I'll give you like some framework on this, but do less than more when you start out. So you kind of get a first layer that you feel comfortable with, okay? When you're doing that also, if let's say you did an exercise session in the morning, I would wait 24 hours to see how you respond to it. If within 24 hours you're having a severe spike, you're getting to that moderate to severe, especially if it's constant pain, then we probably did too much. Okay, so we have to think about, and that's why it's important to write down and document how much exercise you did, and just like in a little journal, that'll help you kind of know, all right, I didn't tolerate that, let's do less, or this exercise isn't appropriate for me. So consider that when you're doing any kind of exercises, whether it be neck exercise, back, or it doesn't really matter, anything that you're doing in rehab. Second part that we use here for especially for spinal related issues for the lower back and the neck is we use the concept of centralization versus peripheralization. So when we're doing an exercise, even if you're doing a stretch, let's say you start out and you've got, let's say, central neck pain right here, and you do a stretch or a motion. The next day you start getting shoulder or even arm pain. That's a sign called peripheralization, and it's a sign that we're going in the wrong direction. We're getting more pain that's emanating from here, and now it's radiating down into the arm or even into the hand. That's a direction we don't want to go. If we do an exercise, and let's say we had arm pain, and we do a stretch or a strengthening exercise, and it moves up, and now we no longer have arm pain, we're actually getting more central neck pain or something like that, or upper back pain, that's actually a good sign. That's called centralization. So that's a good thing as far as, exercise, and also things that you're doing in your own life. You're starting to, let's say you're sitting and you're working on the computer for an hour, and then you're starting to develop some arm pain. We probably want to get out of that position, move around a little bit, or change your position and try and get that pain out of your arm, especially if it hadn't been there. So anything that increases symptoms down, that's peripheralization, centralization, moving up. So use that as a general rule when you're doing any of these exercises as a general guidance. And most times it's pretty helpful if you listen to that. Obviously getting guidance from a therapist is even better, but if you have to do this at home, this is a great rule of thumb. We have to realize that neck pain is multifactorial. It's much more complex, okay? Sometimes we have issues that are actually surrounding not getting enough sleep. It can be a major contributor to a lot of situations, a lot of pain syndromes. Stress, I have patients that come in and they only have stress or neck pain during certain times that are high stress periods. It can be job, it can be accountants during tax season, it could be when your in-laws show up. It could be a lot of things that actually contribute to it. And certain postures and positions that you maintain for long periods can be a big contributor. So we can get you as strong, we can get you really mobile, but we also realize that some of those things might be influencing. But I would try these exercises, to rule that out. It should be neutral or better. We have to get you moving. So besides the strengthening exercises, which we'll show in a second, we always encourage our patients, especially with people that have had chronic pain, we want to get them to a good endurance program, whether it be walking, swimming, or doing elliptical, just to reduce the pain levels. And what they find is that we can find a good program, 20 or 30 minutes, probably 50 to 6% of our maximum heart rate. We want to have that sustained elevated heart rate at least 3 times a week, can make a big difference in your perception of pain, meaning basically the mind doesn't perceive as much the pain as much as you enter these programs. They call it exercise-induced analgesia. Basically, exercise can really turn down those pain responses to your brain. Okay, so your brain just doesn't record as much of the pain that's coming from whatever structure. It's a great way, and it also gets you more active and improves blood flow, release endorphins. There's all these positive things that can occur from that. So in addition to the strengthening that we're going to show you later on, really embrace a good endurance or endurance program in whatever activity you enjoy. You do need that elevated heart rate to do that, and it has to be something that is sustainable and doesn't increase your pain. Realize these programs, don't go hog wild with it. Start out with, like, as much as I'm telling you, 20 or 30 minutes. Start out 5 or 10 minutes to kind of get a good baseline, and then slowly increase that time to at least, we want to get to our target of at least 30 minutes 3 times a week, okay, with that elevated heart rate. We'll talk about that on another blog and video pretty soon as well. So what we're doing is we're going to show you some isometrics that we're going to work on. This is the starting point. All these isometrics is we're going to basically do it 10 times, and we're going to hold it for a full 10 seconds. Now, since we're doing people, if you're doing not a prevention program, but you're trying to work on a program for pain, I would start out with very mild resistance, and slowly you want to increase the tension of the isometric contraction, depending on your tolerance. And also depending on, let's say, the next day, how your response is, okay? So first thing is to make sure you're in good alignment here, okay? So as you're doing these, we're going to work on the ones in the front, the cervical flexors here. You have the muscles that are contributing to side bend, okay, on the lateral musculature. Then you have the cervical extensors here. So the first one you can do is do it from the side views. Think about good alignment, ears over the tip of the shoulder, nice and upright. Kind of engage your core. You want to have a good firm foundation here. You can start with placing your hand here, or even both your hands if it's more comfortable, against here. And you're trying to push against your head while maintaining good posture alignment. So you're going to hold, push in, and you're going to basically resist. And you'll feel these muscles tensing in here, and apply whatever pressure, and you want to meet that pressure. Just like if I was taking my hands here, and I was applying the pressure against it, and I'm trying to come together, I'm getting the pecs here to contract. We want to get a good, solid contraction and hold that contraction for 10 seconds, eventually working up to a minute. So we're doing 10 times for 10 seconds is our starting point. And then eventually we want to do, let's say, two or three times for a minute for up to 60 seconds. But in the initial period, it might be too much or too painful. So the first one is cervical flexion, working on here. 2 hands, hold. And I would start out with mild just to see what your response is, okay? This would be the first one, or this. And some people do this against a wall with a ball or whatever. I'm just showing you one version you can do anywhere. So we'll start with this one first. Hold that contraction, 10 seconds, 10 times. Then you can, and I like to do this in a row, like doing this direction in a row. Then we can work on the side direction. So here, hold the position. Your head should never move during all these. And you want to apply pressure going this way and match the pressure. Hold it like so, 10 times for 10 seconds. Then here, and it doesn't matter the order. Hold, 10 for 10 seconds. Last one, if you feel comfortable, hands back here, you can, push it straight back and hold it there. Or if it's too, you're strong enough, you can put both hands back like so, and pull straight back. So that's your isometric treatment program. See how you gauge. 2 or 3 times a week you want to start these. Along with these isometric exercises, you can try resistance training exercises, strength exercises, that also target the neck muscles indirectly. One of the ones, as example, is a row. It targets some of the large back muscles, shoulder, biceps, and neck. You can choose like either banded or using weighted cable rows or even dumbbells. The other ones are more for the scapular stabilizers, called the Ys, Ts, and Is. That's your neck, upper trap, middle trap, lower trap, and shoulders. These can be done off of a Swiss ball, lying down, or also with bands and standing. Holding these positions requires good strength and stability.
These don't have to be done with heavy weights. In fact, a lot of times we like to add a little isometric hold at the very end as you're doing these exercises. But these are fantastic for starting out, and oftentimes are called postural exercises for folks. Another one is shrugs. Target the neck and upper trap. Just make sure you keep good alignment, nice and up and down. Think about that first before you start the shrug. And last, we have push-ups. Everyone says, I can't do a push-up. You can also do one like a kneeling push-up, wall push-up, table, or floor. But typically, most people can start on one of these two modifications and have success.
So when you're doing this isometric strengthening exercises, I would expect results within 6 to 8 weeks. You may notice a change in pain levels before that, but you really start getting into a good rhythm around 6 to 8 weeks. The other part about that too is you can do mobility and stretching, but realize, we do want to complement it with some strengthening exercises, especially if you've been working on some flexibility and mobility before that. So keep that in mind. Listen, I hope this helps you out and gives you another approach to kind of working on some neck pain and getting you back to feeling a little bit better. If you enjoy this, just share it, place a comment, and definitely turn on your notifications and like it. Notifications so you can see future videos. Have a great day.